How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now on today's show we're going to take a little look back at Southampton against Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp, he is not a happy man. Our last piece of news involves Bukayo Saka because former Manchester United player Paul Ince has sent a warning over his potential long-term position.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So the first place we're going to start is Southampton against Liverpool. And I don't know whether this result is a bit of a surprise anymore because Liverpool's current form is not that great. And Southampton won this 1-0. Danny Ings against his former side within 2 minutes. Now, I remember when that went in, I was thinking, not a great time for Southampton to score. Surely they've done that too early and Liverpool will come back into this game. But they didn't. Now, there were some VAR decisions that went against Liverpool for a foul on Mane, a handball. And I feel that those decisions were correct. Liverpool had 17 shots on goal, but their biggest problem was one on target. They had 67.1% of possession. But it doesn't really matter how much possession you have if you're not creating chances and putting the ball in the back of the net. And Southampton, that's an absolutely brilliant win for them. And you could tell how much it meant to their manager at the end of the game, because he dropped down to his knees and started crying. And you think, it was around about a year ago now, I think, in fact, when they lost 9-0 to Leicester. Staggering. They were going through such a bad run. There were people calling for his head. And the owner stuck with him. And they didn't panic. And he's certainly turning things around. He's a really, really good manager. But yeah, Liverpool, man, I don't know what's going on with them at the moment. They look like they were in the driving seat, coping with their injuries and everything else. And then out of nowhere, they're just falling apart and they've handed the initiative over to Manchester United. They've got a game in hand now and can actually go top if they win that game in hand. And I believe that's against Burnley. And it's just staggering what's happening to Liverpool at the moment. And Jurgen Klopp, he was speaking after the game. And this is the first time I'm starting to watch Jurgen Klopp and really see cracks in the armour. And that he's starting to get rattled a little bit. And he was speaking about Manchester United. And he was speaking about how many penalties they get. And I can understand why he wants to question how many penalties they get. Leicester actually have more penalties than anyone in the Premier League this season. It ain't actually Manchester United. But they're still right up there. And when you put all of their penalties as a whole together, it's quite staggering. And he was mentioning how Manchester United have won as many penalties in the last couple of years as he has in his old time at Liverpool. And like I said, it just seems like cracks are starting to appear, like the pressure's getting to Jurgen a little bit. And he's not getting it his own way. Liverpool are not performing. Trent Alexander-Arnold was absolutely abysmal in this game. And the amount of times he gave the ball away, it's a reason why he was taken off, I think. And it was because he was so poor. But you've got so many quality players in that team that are not performing at the moment. And when you put all that together along with the injuries, it becomes very difficult. And this is a period that Liverpool are going to have to try and get through. They've had it all their own way the last couple of years in terms of their results and how they kind of steamroller all the teams in front of them. They were very unlucky not to win the league title a couple of years ago. It was just an unbelievable finish from Manchester City that stopped them. And then last season, they were just having it their own way all the way through. And there was one point where everyone was talking about them going the season unbeaten and being the next Invincibles until Watford went and gave them a hiding 3-0. But yeah, I just feel that, you know, in recent years, Jurgen wouldn't really, comment on Manchester United, wouldn't really be too bothered about what they're doing because they're nowhere near them in the table. But now they are, and they can actually go in front of them, and it's advantage to Manchester United in that sense. Jurgen seems to be retaliating a bit, and I don't know whether it's mind games, I don't know whether it's a bit of kidology, because they play each other in a couple of weeks as well, which will be a massive game. But yeah, this is very unlike Jurgen Klopp. I've seen him lose his temper a few times and, you know, maybe speak out about a certain thing, but it just always seems to be an isolated, you know, thing, and it kind of just disappears and goes away. But this just seems to be lingering on, and he seems to be very, very rattled at the moment, shall we say. But that result, not great for Liverpool. And when you look at their recent results as well, drawing at Newcastle, there's points dropped there, losing to Southampton. They could be walking away with the Premier League right now, but they're not. And I suppose the one team that's probably got a big advantage over this, other than Manchester United, will be Manchester City, because they've got a couple of games in hand. And given the fact they just beaten Chelsea, and despite their problems with COVID and players missing, they still look an unbelievably good side. Defensively, very solid, best in the Premier League, I believe. And yeah, they're right in the mix. When you look at the Premier League table at the moment as well, Liverpool are currently top, 17 games played. Manchester City are 5th, 15 games played, so they've got 2 games in hand. They're currently on 29 points. And Liverpool, they're on 33, so it's definitely upper hand to Manchester City in that respect. But it also means teams like Leicester, even Everton, can, you know, throw their hat in the mix. And then right down all the way to like 12th place, there's only 10 points, you know, between there and Liverpool. It's not a lot when you think about it. But yeah, I don't think anyone down that end will be winning the title anytime soon, that's for sure. I think you've kind of got to look at Manchester City in terms of saving humanity and stopping Manchester United. Yeah, very good result for Southampton, like I was saying. That moves them up to 6th place on 29 points, level on points with Manchester City as well. But they have played 2 games more. So you have to let me know what you think. Is Jurgen Klopp finally starting to crack, and is he getting rattled too easily? Last piece of news involves Bukayo Saka and former Manchester United midfielder Paul Ince has sent a warning to Bukayo Saka about becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none by the end of his career. Saka has starred in Arsenal in a variety of positions under Mikel Arteta. The 19-year-old has played as a left back, a left wing back, a left winger, and a number 10. Saka is now thriving, of course, on the right of a front three, where he is keeping both Willian and Nicola Pepe out of the starting 11. England boss Gareth Southgate has predominantly used Saka as a wing back in his 4 senior caps to date. But Paul Ince has warned that not having a single best position could be to Saka's detriment at some point. For Arsenal, I think he can play off the left, he can play off the right, he can play as a number 10. We've seen him play this season as a left back. He can play in multiple positions, and you don't want to be known as one of those players. You don't want to be a player who can play in a variety of positions. You want to have a set position for him to progress and be the player that he is. With all due respect, I think there's a reason why Paul Ince failed as a manager. Let's also remember, for all of you that don't know who Paul Ince is, he was once speaking about David Silva leaving Manchester City, and how, you know, Manchester City were going to honour him and his time at the club by getting him a statue. And he referenced David Silva with Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry in terms of legend status at a club. And he turned around and said, you don't see either of those 2 players with a statue outside the Emirates. Yeah. Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry both have statues outside the Emirates. If you didn't know that, then you must have been living under a rock, no matter what team you support. But even if you didn't, that's what research is there for. Have a little check. Just, you know, make sure you're not putting your foot in it. So we've now got to listen to this guy talk about Bukayo Saka and what will be the best for his career. He's doing absolutely fine right now. I'm sure Arsenal and Mikel Arteta know his best position and where they want him to play and what they want him to do. And all players should have at least 2 positions. He played as a left back, mainly to cover when Tierney was injured, Kolasinac was injured, and it was a case of needs must. He's a left-footed player, and he was the only one that was available that could really do the job, bar maybe Granit Xhaka. So yeah, that's the reason why he played there. In the wing-back position, he gets to attack and play like he does as a left winger. So there's not much difference in there. And now he's on the right. So what if he can play on the left and the right? It's what you want your attacking players to be able to do. At moments in the game, he'll be on the left. At moments, he's on the right. He can pick up in the 10. It's part and parcel of the modern game. So, yeah, I've got no problems with it whatsoever. And, yeah, I guess that's Paul Ince's opinion. But I don't mean that anyone's going to take any notice of it. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. Let me know what you think about Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. And also Bukayo Saka. Do you think that he needs to set down a, you know, more permanent position? Or are you happy with him moving left, right, or wherever's good at the time as long as he's performing? So let me know. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.